Okay, let's dive in. When you think about a hospital, I mean, really think about everything involved. It just seems impossibly complex, doesn't it? Like this massive constant balancing act.
Oh, absolutely. It's an incredibly intricate juggling act, day in, day out. And digging into the material for this, it really highlighted what a huge challenge managing all the resources is.
Resources meaning, not just doctors and nurses.
No, everything. Staff, yes, but also equipment, supplies, beds, operating rooms, the whole system. It's complex and it's always changing.
Right. So how did hospitals typically handle this complexity before, more advanced tools came along?
Well, traditionally, it seems it was often a lot of spreadsheets, static tools.
Spreadsheets for running a hospital.
Spreadsheets, gut feelings, managers trying to piece it together, and a whole lot of reacting to whatever crisis just popped up.
Like what kind of crisis?
Well, trying to schedule staff fairly across different units,
Okay.
or just finding a piece of equipment like a portable x-ray, or critically knowing if you actually have enough of a vital medication right now. These old ways, they were time-consuming, definitely prone to errors, and just couldn't keep up with how dynamic a hospital really is.
So paint a picture for us. What happens when that reactive system hits, reality?
Okay, imagine a big emergency comes in. Suddenly, the whole meticulously planned OR schedule completely thrown off.
Chaos.
Or you discover you're critically low on something essential, a specific drug right when you need it most. Or maybe a key piece of equipment, an MRI, a ventilator, just stops working unexpectedly.
Wow. Those aren't small things.
Not at all. And the sources made it clear these aren't just minor hiccups. They create ripples. They impact patient care, obviously. They hit staff morale hard, and they cost money. The material kept describing it as a constant fire drill.
A constant fire drill. Yeah, that sounds exhausting and risky. So the old way was basically just putting out fires after they started?
Pretty much. Waiting for the problem, then scrambling. And this is really where AI comes in. It offers a fundamental shift.
A shift away from the fire drill.
Exactly. Away from that reactive chaos towards something more strategic. The sources called it proactive orchestration.
Proactive orchestration. I like that. How does AI actually enable that? What's the core capability?
You could think of AI here as providing a kind of digital sixth sense for the hospital and the central nervous system.
Okay.
Its power comes from being able to analyze just vast amounts of data, information from all those different systems that often didn't talk to each other.
Like patient records, staff schedules?
Patient records, staff databases, inventory logs, even real-time data from sensors on equipment, everything. By processing all that, AI can spot patterns, predict needs, things humans just can't see in that volume of data, and with real accuracy.
Just seeing the bigger picture.
Precisely. But, and this is crucial, it's not about replacing the doctors and nurses. It's about augmenting their expertise, giving them better information, better tools to make decisions.
Augmenting. Okay, that makes sense. So let's get specific. Where does this start making a difference? You mentioned staff. That feels like a huge one.
It is. Staff management is a massive area where AI is having an impact. Take shift scheduling, or rota management, as it's often called.
Scheduling. Always a headache, I imagine.
Exactly. Traditional scheduling. It's often rigid, takes managers ages, it can lead to unfair shifts, burnout, all sorts of problems. An AI system, though, can juggle way more factors at once.
Like what?
Staff preferences, for one, their specific skills,
Correct.
the predicted patient load in different departments, and really importantly, it can factor in fatigue risk.
Fatigue risk. Wow, that sounds critical in healthcare.
It really is. The AI can actually look at a proposed schedule and flag potential fatigue risks for staff members. Maybe suggest changes, prompt breaks. There was a great example in the Sources and ICU pilot program. They used an AI fatigue prediction tool and saw a noticeable drop in reported staff burnout.
That's significant.
Definitely. And beyond just safety, AI enables preference-based scheduling. Staff can input when they'd like to work. The system then tries its best to honor those preferences while still meeting the hospital's needs. That boosts satisfaction, naturally.
Makes sense. And what about when things go wrong? Unexpected surges.
That's where dynamic rescheduling comes in. If there's a sudden rush of patients or staff call in sick, the AI can instantly see the gaps and identify the best way to fill them quickly. One source actually called an AI tool a literal lifesaver during a COVID surge because it could reallocate staff so rapidly to where they were needed most.
Wow, so fairer schedules, less burnout, and resilience when things get crazy. That's a world away from the fire drill.
It really is. It changes scheduling from just an administrative burden into something that actually supports staff and smooth operations. And there's more. The material also talked about staff allocation prediction and skill optimization.
Okay, what does that involve?
AI models can forecast not just patient numbers, but also how complex their needs might be, acuity levels, basically. Then it matches the skills and experience of the available staff to those predicted needs.
So ensuring you have, say, enough nurses with critical care experience if you expect sicker patients.
Exactly. Getting the right people with the right skills in the right place at the right time.
And the benefit of that is, for patients, I mean.
Better patient care directly. When staffing is optimized like this, you tend to see shorter wait times, fewer errors because staff aren't overwhelmed or mismatched to tasks, and overall patients just report higher satisfaction.
And for the hospital itself, is there a financial angle?
Oh, definitely. Improved efficiency always has financial benefits. One large hospital mentioned in the material, they estimated they could save hundreds of thousands of dollars annually.
Just from optimizing staff allocation.
Just from that, it shows the scale of impact. Better for staff, better for patients, and better for the hospital's sustainability.
That's really compelling. Hundreds of thousands. Okay, so we talked about the people. What about the stuff? The equipment, the supplies, medications?
Right, the physical resources. AI is making a big difference there, too. Supply chain optimization is a key one.
How so? Hospitals always seem to have tons of supplies.
Well, yes, but often they overstock just in case, trying to avoid running out of something critical.
Which leads to waste.
Exactly. Things expire. Storage costs add up. It's inefficient. AI changes this by analyzing historical usage, looking at seasonal trends, even factoring in predicted patient volumes to forecast demand much more accurately.
So instead of guessing we might need X amount, they have a data-driven prediction.
Precisely. This lets them optimize their inventory levels, hold less stock, reduce waste from expired items, and potentially even negotiate better prices because they know exactly what they use. The AI can also trigger alerts, stock low on item Y or supplies Z nearing expiration, proactive again.
Any examples of that working?
Yes, a really strong one from a large hospital in Mumbai. They used an AI system for inventory. Reportedly cut their holding costs by 20%, reduced expired supplies by 30%, saved about $100,000 a year.
Another $100,000. Just from managing supplies better, it adds up.
It really does. And it's not just bandages and basic meds. Think about the expensive, complex equipment.
Right, the MRI machines, ventilators.
AI is revolutionizing how those are managed, too. Tracking how equipment is used is helpful, sure. But the real game changer is predictive maintenance.
Predictive maintenance, so fixing it before it breaks.
Exactly that. The old way is reactive maintenance, wait for the machine to break down, then scramble to fix it, which means unpredictable downtime.
Which you really don't want for an MRI scanner.
Absolutely not. AI uses data from sensors on the machines, maintenance records, usage patterns to predict when a piece of equipment is likely to fail. This allows maintenance to be scheduled proactively, during planned downtime, before the failure occurs.
Keeping critical gear up and running reliably.
Yes. Preventing those costly, disruptive, and potentially dangerous breakdowns, ensuring that vital equipment is ready when patients need it. That's huge.
So AI helps keep the essential machinery running, maximizing its availability.
Exactly. And it also helps optimize its use over time. By seeing clearly how often equipment is used, hospitals can make smarter decisions about buying new machines or reallocating existing ones, getting the most value out of those big investments.
Okay, staff, supplies, equipment. Are there other major hospital operations where AI is stepping in to manage resources?
Oh yes, the sources pointed to several other key areas. Operating room scheduling, for example. That's moving beyond static plans to dynamic, AI-driven scheduling that can adjust in real time. It can even help predict how long surgeries might take, flag potential complexities.
Making the ORs run more smoothly.
That's the goal. Then there's bed management. Instead of frantic searching for an available bed when someone needs admission, AI uses predictive analytics to forecast demand and allocate beds proactively. Much less stressful.
I can imagine. What else?
Patient flow optimization is another big one. AI analyzes arrival patterns, identifies likely bottlenecks within the hospital and the ER, waiting for tests, waiting for discharge. Helping to smooth out that flow reduces waiting times for everyone. Patients, visitors, staff.
That's something everyone can appreciate, reducing waits.
Definitely. And related to that, predictive analytics can forecast overall hospital admissions and even predict the average length of stay for different patient groups. This gives hospitals amazing foresight for planning resources, beds, staff well in advance. One hospital in Bangalore, for instance, mentioned they used a system like this and reduced the average length of stay for surgical patients by 15%.
15% reduction.
Yeah.
That's significant for freeing up beds and resources.
It really is. So across the board, it feels like AI is providing this unprecedented level of visibility and predictive power.
Taking them from that reactive scramble to actually truly orchestrating how the hospital functions.
That's a great way to put it. Orchestrating resources. It leads to more efficiency, lower costs, better quality of care, faster care, and importantly, it supports the staff, reduces their administrative load, makes the environment a bit more predictable, less chaotic.
No, it can't be all easy, right? What are the hurdles?
No, absolutely not. Implementation has challenges. Integrating data from old, siloed systems can be tough. And getting staff buy-in, making sure they trust and feel comfortable using these new AI tools, that takes effort and training. User adoption is key.
Sure. Change management is always part of the picture.
It is.
Yeah.
But the strategic benefits we've discussed, the ones highlighted across the material, they seem really clear and substantial.
Yeah, it paints a really powerful picture. Technology quietly transforming how healthcare actually operates behind the scenes. It's not just about fancy algorithms, is it? It sounds like it's genuinely about creating a system that works better, smoother, safer for the people working there, and ultimately for patients, for you, for me, when we need care.
Absolutely. By adopting these AI solutions, hospitals are shifting away from constantly fighting fires. They're building a more efficient, more responsive system, more patient-centered, ultimately.
There was a phrase in the material that really stuck out: silently saving lives, one optimized process at a time. It captures that idea, doesn't it? This blend of smart systems and dedicated people working together, maybe in ways we don't even see, to build a healthier future.
A powerful thought. It's about making the whole system work smarter, not just harder.
Well, thank you. That was a fascinating deep dive into a really critical application for AI.